For as long as I can remember, I've been into comics, though these days mostly it's like, well, in fact I haven't bought any in ages, but I have a big collection of Marvel comics, mostly Spider-Man, but there's some other stuff as well, like Death's Head 2. But before Marvel comics, I was into, what was it? There was a comic called Action, and then there was 2000 AD, which I got from like very early on, and another one called Star-Lord. Now, I just bought a DVD with the complete collections of both Action and Star-Lord, and something else called Tornado, which I never read back in the day, so I don't know anything about that, and I don't really care. But I just want to have a quick look and show you this issue number 1 of Star-Lord. It was very similar in style to 2000 AD. This was released, this is issue number 1, 13th of May 1978. I had this, I bought Star-Lord from issue 1 right through to when it finished. And being a kid at the time, I didn't look after them very well. They all got trashed. But I found this seller on eBay that he's got DVDs with scans of all the comics I read as a kid. So I snapped up this one. The quality is bloody awesome. It's all on PDF, and I'm going to get some more. But I wanted to have a look at this and show you. I remember all these stories. I've been flicking through this. I'm just reading through them all now, and I remember them all. I remember all the stories. I remember so many just of the actual pictures. First story, Planet of the Damned. It's Bermuda Triangle, airliner goes down, comes out in an alternate reality where there are nasty big kind of zombie things that spit acid and kill you. And there are, you know, the human survivors are basically fighting for their life, and people who went down in the Bermuda Triangle like hundreds of years ago. This guy here, he's like, he was on some ship 150 years ago, and he's learned how to survive. And it's probably the weakest of the stories, but it's good. And it, as happened with a lot of comics back in the 70s, they're kind of copying stories of the popular movies at the time, and I think this one would have to be Fantastic. Was it Fantastic Journey or Fantastic Voyage? I think actually it's kind of a combination of the two, because there was a film. No, wait. No, it was a TV series, wasn't it? There's one called Fantastic something or other where they go through the human body, and that's nothing to do with it. But there's another one where they go through the Bermuda Triangle, and this is that. I think it's Fantastic Journey. But anyway, then we've got Timequake. World War III has happened, and kind of the people who caused it were helped inadvertently by this guy here, by taking an assassin on his boat who went and killed some Israeli person, blah blah blah, war. So these people from the future and or past, who are called time control, come along with their time control wristwatches. And they take him back to the past, just as nuclear war destroys London. And there are dinosaurs there, and he's kind of freaked out by that, and they find that time is being manipulated by nasty aliens, blah blah blah, got to save the world by him killing himself. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I remember it. I remember reading it. Just utter nostalgia. This is like the Star-Lord character who you know, they've got Tharg on 2000 AD, he like introduces aspects of the comic and whatever. Well, Star-Lord has Star-Lord. He kind of looks a bit, well, he's a bit camp really, isn't he? Now we get on to the really good stuff. Strontium Dog. This guy, he appeared in later on in 2000 AD. He's very much like a Judge Dredd style thing. He's a mutant. He can see through walls and stuff like that. With his friend Wolf, who speaks with a really bad German accent. I love the art on this. It is totally Judge Dredd in its style. And when Star-Lord went bust, well, it was merged with 2000 AD for a while. You had 2000 AD and Star-Lord, and then they ditched the Star-Lord aspect of it, but they kept Strontium Dog because he was good. He was really good. Yeah, so he's like a mutant bounty hunter who just goes along capturing or killing the bad guys, saving the good guys or the innocents and whatnot and blah blah blah. And everybody hates him because he's a mutant and mutants are not popular. Great artwork. I love the art on this. Yep. And there's all your cheap naff stuff that you get in comics like this. Oh yeah, sort of a brief advert for something that's coming up in issue 2, which is Mind Wars. Pair of twins from some planet who get given super mental powers by the aliens in a war against the humans, blah blah blah. It's a good story. I really really like it. All you got is a preview of it in this one, and it's a good one. And then the best. This is the best. Roadbusters. Load of reject robots, you know, they're worn out, knackered, being sold off by like the robot equivalent of used car salesmen, and they all get bought up by this cyborg bloke called Mr. 10%, he's got a human brain, but the rest of him is robot, and they're like the robot equivalent of international rescue. Here we go. Let's just, yeah, great artwork again. So they're basically just sent in to do all the dirty jobs and rescue missions and whatnot that humans can't do because it's just too dangerous. The two main characters, Rojaws, who's like a ex-waste disposal robot who they'd chuck the rubbish into his mouth and he'd chew it all up and then it'd come out of his stomach. Yeah, and Hammerstein, who's a big military robot with the big hammer and the guns on his other wrist and a freaky face and stuff. And these two, well, Hammerstein in particular, I don't know about Rojaws, they kind of evolved because when 2000 AD took over Star-Lord, you know, they were merged and then it took it over, they took Roadbusters and created something new with it, ABC Warriors. Which became really quite popular. And if you've seen the Judge Dredd film with Sylvester Stallone, you'll have seen an ABC Warrior in that. And all of that came from this. This is the first... This is where it all came from. It originated with Roadbusters in May 1978 in Star-Lord comic. And it's great. I love it. And the character of these two... Because like Hammerstein he's like traumatized, he has flashbacks and everything from the big war, kind of like a Vietnam veteran or whatever, the stereotype that you would see in the films. And then Rojaws, he's a very, I reckon Bender was based on him. In fact, I'm absolutely convinced Bender was based on him in Futurama, because he's got the defective social circuits. His social skills are appalling because he just wasn't finished. And then also ripped off, I'm convinced, by Futurama is Mechquake. Now let me, are we going to really see a proper picture of it? Probably not. It's this gigantic, huge, big robot. Kind of there, you can sort of see it. Big robot, eyes at the top, there. Can you see there? What was that robot called in the oh god, it was like on a farm on the moon. There's something innate, something innate. Not Destructinator, something or other. Anyway, it's just totally based on Mechquake, which is great because it's just cool to know that. What's his name? Matt Groening must have read Star-Lord. Must have to have like a character based so clearly based on Roadjaws and Mechquake. Brilliant, love it. I am speculating there, but that is what I think. That's where I think they got that. So where did I get this? In case you want to get any of these, it's I got it off of eBay. It's uther.com thingy, whoever. I'm not actually trying to advertise them, but some of you might want to know where to get this, because it's great. I may do something similar and have a look at action in another video, or I may not, depends. There it is. Star-Lord. Bloody brilliant. Love it. Okay, thank you for watching.